Here we are. This is chapter 2 of my series talking about Made to Crave. This has been a really amazing book for my study that I'm doing during the week, and also for my clients. And I've referred to it when talking to people just in general. I mean, there's some amazing stuff in this book. So now we're talking about chapter 2. So just as a refresher, we had the introduction, and then chapter 1 was what's really going on here. And so chapter 2 is replacing my cravings. And this is incredible. Every chapter she just builds, and it's really an incredible study. I would advise to not just read it, but get together with people, do like a book study like I'm doing. I'm doing it over Zoom. I don't record those because I want people to feel free to share, and I just come each week behind that and go over my take on that particular chapter. And it's really awesome because they're very short but powerful chapters. So chapter 2 is replacing my cravings, and she talks about maybe somehow overnight the molecular structure of my body is shifted and I will magically weigh less. And so she's talking about how do you actually do this. Just wanting to make a change is not going to make it happen. You have to actually make it happen. But how do you do that? And that's what she's talking about. So she says, who cares what the scale says when this roll speaks so much love and deliciousness? So basically what she's saying is the enemy lies to us. The enemy tells us it's no big deal, right? You can deal with it tomorrow. You can have this cinnamon roll. You can have this thing. You can have that thing. And it's just once, it's just one thing. But it builds habits. It builds a mindset. And you talk about wanting to make these changes, but if you're not making the changes, then you are contributing to that mindset and those habits. So she says, 2.5 cinnamon rolls later, I decide tomorrow will be a much better day to keep my promises, to eat healthier. And since this is my last day to eat whatever I want, I better live it up. Another cinnamon roll, please. And this is what we do. The enemy comes in and tells us that we need that satisfaction. We need that comfort. We need whatever it is you're looking for in the food, or by the way, anything else. And so he lies to us, telling us that we need that in order to feel what we need to feel. And then he lies to us, telling us that it doesn't matter if we make one choice. And then he lies to us, telling us that you might as well live it up now because you've already messed up. And this is just a lie from the enemy. She goes on to say, is it possible we love and rely on food more than we love and rely on him? And so she talks about how she craved food for comfort. Food was her comfort, her reward, joy. And it's what she used in times of stress, sadness, and even in times of happiness to celebrate. And she felt like a spiritual failure. And again, here's another enemy, another lie from the enemy coming in, telling us that we are failures because in the past, this is what we've done. But we can make changes. She talks about making this diet thing a spiritual journey, and how is that possible? Is God really all about food? Or does God really care about food? And she talks about how does God really take this seriously? And then she quotes the scripture, Psalm 78:18, which says they willfully put God to the test by demanding the food they craved. So they're in the wilderness, the Israelites, and God saved them, and he did all these miracles for them, and they're fetching and complaining, and God is telling them, he's giving them what they need, but they're craving something other than God, which is what we do this side of heaven. And so they wandered in the desert for 40 years. And then she goes on to say, I don't want to wander in the desert, unable to enter into the abundant life that God has for me because I willingly put him to the test over food. And then she talks about each time she craved something she knew that wasn't part of her plan, she decided that it was a prompt instead to pray. And she found herself praying a lot. And I've shared this with my clients, and that's really a great thing to do. So instead of saying, oh, I really, really want this, and listening and giving into what the enemy is telling you, you really need this, you want this, you should have this, it's not going to be that big a deal, you pray. And you pray and focus on God. And that's what we need to do when we're craving. We are taking that focus off of the one who created us and our purpose here and putting it on food in this case. So she goes on to talk a little bit more, and she says, God, I want the biscuit this morning, and instead I'm eating poached eggs. I'm thankful for those eggs, but to be honest, I still am craving for the other things are hard to resist. But instead of wallowing in what I can't have, she says, I'm making the choice to celebrate what I can have. Another great thing I tell my clients all the time. So she says, one morning, it finally happened. I got up, and for the first time in a long while, I felt incredibly empowered. The numbers hadn't changed yet, but my heart had. One day, the victory tasted better than any of the food I'd given up ever could. I had waited in expectation, using prayer as my guide, and I did it. So one thing that I do see happen a lot with my clients, and I think I talked about this before, is that once you start giving something up, meaning you're going to focus on what's healthy for you, you're going to not focus on what you're giving up, you're going to focus on what you're getting, what your goal is, focusing on the Lord rather than the food, your body starts to change. And you start craving, like she talked about before, the things you think about, the things you meditate on, those are the things that you end up craving. But it's also the things that what you end up craving in your body. So your body will change what it craves if you change your habits and your mindsets as you go along. I have seen it happen time and time again with my clients who craved a particular thing, but went back over time, realized that, oh my gosh, I no longer crave that. And not only did they don't crave it anymore, a lot of times they don't even like what it is that they loved and craved and had to have. So that's chapter 2. Let me know how it's coming for you. I absolutely love this. It goes right along with the programs that I coach. If you would love to chat about this, you can message me, leave a comment below. You can also, if you want more help than this book can give, because the book has great information on this part of it, but I have the nutrition programs that will help you get where you want to go. And she even says that in the book, that it goes along with whatever program you're doing. So let me know if there's a way that I can help you. And I do have a little special going on till the end of May. And but there's always, great opportunity to get healthy. Being healthy is the most important thing. Talk to you next week.